with 1 in 4 of the Turkish diaspora in the United States having arrived there in the last 10 years, there's obviously a lot of activity, and this has grown greatly in the last recent period. When I was in New York, I met with Özlenen, Eser, Kalav and Senay Ataselim of the Turkish Philanthropy funds, and they told me more.
The Turkish diaspora here in the United States has increased substantially in the 1990s. Initially, in the 60s and thereafter, most of the Turks who were coming to the States were engineers or doctors, high-level professionals who stayed on to, build their careers here. Starting in the 90s, we had individual entrepreneurs, small business people, and again continuation of the professionals. But the numbers now of the diaspora is close to 500,000, which is of course not very well recognized among the Turks here. The more we build our foundation, the more we try to reach out to Turks all across the United States, the more we get surprised that their numbers are really so large. In terms of the philanthropic engagement, philanthropy in Turkey goes back about 1,000 years. So it is well rooted in the Turkish culture, except that it's done on an individual basis. It's not the institutional style that we do in the United States with tax exemptions, tax deductions, and others. And it's pretty much done within the communities that you live in. Now, what we're trying to do with Turkish Philanthropy funds now is to make it more of an institutional focus, and capture both the young entrepreneurs and the close to retirement successful business people in the United States. In terms of building our foundation, it's been pretty successful in its activities, both in terms of raising funds and donating to Turkey. We have, in the course of 4 or 5 years, raised about $14 million and donated close to $2 million to social causes in Turkey, all across the country, not only in the major cities that we're all familiar with, but also reaching out to Anatolian towns far north and south and southeastern Turkey.
How do you see the future going for the development of your fund and general Turkish and diaspora engagement in Senay?
Turks are newcomers to the United States, and as Özlenen said, the numbers have been increasing, especially after 1990. And right now, I think the driving force behind Turkish diaspora is the growing numbers. 1 in 4 has come to the United States in the last 10 years, and 3/4 of the Turkish Americans living here are born in Turkey. So this is an immigrant community, and they're very much connected to Turkey. So that's the driving force behind Turkish Philanthropy Fund, and that's how and why Turkish Philanthropy Funds has been created, because there has been a gap. These people have, especially the ones that have come here in the 1960s, have come to a point where they are affluent enough and they have started thinking about giving to Turkey, but they were looking for a platform for an organization that can channel their philanthropic dollars to Turkey. I think as TPF we have filled that gap, and we have been channeling donors' philanthropic gifts to Turkey to efficient and impactful organizations and projects. And since this is a young group, it's been growing, and in 10 years it's going to get more wealthy. And this is not a very usual immigrant community. They're very well educated, they're doing well. So in 10 years they're going to grow a lot more and become more wealthy, and will start thinking about giving more to Turkey. Additionally, I think as a community we've come to a place where we have been giving back besides financial capital. The culture, as Özlenen said, the philanthropic culture here has change how the Turkish Americans also think about philanthropy. So they're not giving just informally, but they're also thinking about giving formally through institutions, and that's making a change. Plus, they have learned, through their identities and transnational experiences, they've learned a lot through their experiences here, and they're channeling those skills, ideas to home, and that's going to, I think, increase, and that's going to define the next 5, 10, 20 years in Turkish diaspora.
What about the opportunities and threats facing your fund and Turkish diaspora engagement in general?
The opportunities are great in that at this point we have 2,000 person list that we communicate with and exchange ideas with, and also promote and recommend grants for Turkey. And since earlier we said the population of Turkish diaspora here is close to 500,000, we have a long work ahead of us and a long road ahead of us too. But that gives us all the opportunities. And the fact that the Turkish Philanthropy Funds is the only community foundation of Turkish diaspora in the United States gives us a great distinction among all the Turkish philanthropic initiatives across the United States, of which there are many. The reason is that we provide we not only accept their charitable contributions into TPF, but we also provide them a service of guiding them in the areas of their interest, connecting them to the Turkish organizations, Turkish NGOs that have gone through our due diligence in terms of credibility, accountability, and the impact of their work in Turkey. And that's a great opportunity, because when you live far away from your home, there is a level of distrust or at least questioning whether your funds are going to be invested in the right social causes, and whether the entities you're dealing with in Turkey on your own are going to deliver, are going to be around. So that the due diligence function that we've established is very important to them. And the ease of creating, for example, memorial scholarships, memorial contributions in Turkey for Turkish diaspora members here is also a great opportunity for us. When we had a case of a professor out in the West Coast last June wanting to establish a scholarship in the name of his late father at his school at the Technical University of Istanbul. It took him about, working with us, it took him about less than 2 weeks to get the funds, to do all the paperwork and get the funds to Turkey. That word spread very fast. So that's why the opportunities are great. The threats, I don't see any, because we're not in competition with any of the organizations, Turkish organizations here. And in fact, the more they know of us, the more they cooperate and forge partnerships. So we're in a happy position in that regard.
Just finally, Senay, the next generation, what programs or how do you reach out to the next generation? Or is there a worry that they might lose their connectivity, or is it a great potential?
I see great potential, because diaspora philanthropy, I think, represent an underappreciated but emerging opportunity to convert the wealth, in private wealth, to philanthropic capital. So especially the next generation, I think, will be wealthier, and if we can use that opportunity to reach out to them and offer them this platform, the ones that are interested in giving back to Turkey will be interested in using it, because this platform takes that private wealth and addresses social issues, pressing social issues in Turkey. And diaspora philanthropy is a very personal statement. So when you reach out to people and asking them what they want to do and how, as an organization, we can help them, I think you make a difference there, because they just don't want to write a check or just wire funds to Turkey. They want to be involved, and you give them a chance to be involved through Turkish Philanthropy funds, and that will make a difference. And I see a great future, in addressing and helping the Turkish Americans.